With their flyers, they were very creative with themselves. I know of one show I wasn't there for, but I heard it was some sort of New Year's show where instead of, say, the champagne toast or the ball drop, they had a piñata filled with chicken guts that they released upon the crowd.
At times he would throw, like, he would go to a butcher shop and get, like, hearts and gizzards and things, throw them out in the crowd, and people didn't know what they were. They thought that they were some kind of party favor or something, until it hit them in the face, or they actually grabbed it and they found out that it was blood and gore.
These one-act plays of gore and goth began to attract several major record labels, and eventually the attention of Nine Inch Nails frontman Trent Reznor. And in 1993, the break came, when, having dropped the Spooky Kids moniker, Marilyn Manson was signed to Reznor's Nothing Records, a new division of Interscope.
I was part of their record release party here. What was that like? It was a lot of fun. Marilyn Manson played in the Lizard Lounge. They did an acoustic set, which included the first version of Sweet Dreams. Then they had local bands come in and cover their songs. And it was a great event. It was just amazing. It was a Wednesday night, but it felt like a Saturday or a Thursday.
But when Mr. Manson was not performing on stage with the Spooky Kids, he was still in the spotlight, pulling attention with his crazy antics both on and off stage.
A couple of years ago at the Ambassador Club, the Impotent Sea Snake show, Brian was in the crowd. He tried to get into the act on the show, and he ended up on the stage, which they invite people on the stage. It's a known thing. But there was a baby carriage that the clown had, which he's no longer with the band. Brian ended up in the carriage with his ass up in the air, and they got him in the show. They pulled his pants down. They shoved 2 fingers up his ass, and he went screaming and running out of the club like a little faggot with his pants around his ankles. And that's the infamous Ambassador Club story.
It was fun, though. He'd come by, and he'd be there for like an hour or 2 hours during the show, and just answering the phones. He'd, like, get off on answering the phone. He'd play, like, this character, this really warped janitor, and just, he liked to fuck with people.
I was walking down the street in South Beach where I lived at the time. I saw Brian. Bastard! He goes, "Why come in the studio recording Portrait? Our new album. Wanna hang out?" They come up with this idea from out of the middle of nowhere. They come in and they bring bags of meat. Take the meat and put it on me. So he puts the meat on me, he had a steak on my head. You're a fucking bastard! With hot dogs, 2 hot dogs in the front, 2 hot dogs in the back, hanging by a string. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. That was about it.
When we were promoting that show, Brian was drawing these fucking pictures, man. They were unreal. Like, he had the fat lady bent over getting fucked by the Dr. Seuss cat in a hat, with the dildos and all that kind of shit. And he had pictures of all the Ambugalard cast. He had us all, me with the muscles. He had Dan like screaming with the metal fists and shit. He had Joy with his cock out. He had everybody, you know, sketched down to a T.
What I was trying to do at the Slammies was recognize the hard music scene. Now, Ambugalard is probably most noted now for being the band that spawned Twiggy Ramirez. Twiggy got up there, or Geordie as we called him. He accepted the award. He thanked, I believe he thanked George Lucas and Darth Vader among his many people that influenced him at the time.
I'd like to thank everybody. I'd like to thank Dan Montana. I'd like to thank Bob Franquist, George Koukouris, Chad Steinhardt, Barry Alpert, Sean Rogers, Darth Vader, George Lucas, anybody that voted for me. That's it.
I had Mr. Manson present the award for national release, which I knew Saigon Kick was going to win. And when no one from Saigon Kick showed up, Brian took it upon himself to invite Geordie up on stage. This was before Geordie joined Marilyn Manson. He was still in Ambugalard at the time. And if you watch the video clip, you'll see Mr. Manson introduce him as Geordie White, and they get together up there. And they proceed to toss Saigon Kick's award into the mosh pit.
I'll let Geordie White accept it, because he's the next best thing to Matt Kramer. Thank you very much. Does anybody want to smash it on the dance floor? Unless they're here to accept it. I guess we're gonna have to smash it on the dance floor. Oh, you hit a girl. Are you alright? I didn't mean to hit you. Love is on the way.
From the clubs to the slammies, Manson was everywhere that music was. And it was during this first year as a signed band that Brian Warner finally recruited the one band member he thought was a perfect fit for the Manson motif.
I remember Jordy used to be this little metal kid, almost looked like a troll. He used to just kind of wander the hallway like in his AC/DC shirts or whatever and trench coat. Always looked dirty.
Man, Jordy loved to whip his penis out and just show it to people because he was so proud of it. I mean, it was not that, you know, there's anything wrong with it. I'm not that way, but it was pretty impressive. He would like be standing in the hall of the hotel, you know, and just like pull it out and just like whip it around like it was a piece of rope. It was nuts.
I remember Jordy was in a band called the Ethiopians. I don't believe I ever saw him. They had a little buzz about him, and then he went and joined Ambugalard, which was the death metal band of South Florida.